Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the Conqueror Gun Carriage. It's the Tier 10 British SPG. It's located on the northwest spawn of Arctic region and it's under the command of Huggy9999. Now he's had this Arty for a while. He's marked it with his first mark and he's trying to, he's trying to get his first ace. He does know how to use it. It's actually got the second biggest gun in the game for an Arty. It's 233.7 millimeters. Unfortunately, this Arty never actually existed, based on the Conqueror tank, a heavy tank, but with a very big gun. But unfortunately, it never existed. I'm afraid it's a figment of Wargaming's imagination. Now it is capable of doing 1000 alpha and penetrating 59mm of armour, and the reload time standard is 44.1 seconds, so it's quite a long time. You can see that Huggy's managed to get it down to 35.78, which is still a long time for an Arty. Okay, Udis, dialing in, bounce out. Oh, that was a direct hit. That's got to hurt, because the Udis doesn't have very thick armour. And if that's penned him, he is going to be suffering pretty mightily. Now there are some enemy tanks coming up the south route. And instead of actually going down to meet them, our guys have stayed the other side of the pass to try and block their passage. So it looks like Huggy's going to get a chance to put a few rounds onto them before they get to the pass. Supercon. Just waiting for him to stay still. That's a hit. 382. It's a nice start. Plus, of course, the blind shot. We won't know about that until the end of the game, but it could be a considerable amount of damage. Now, Huggy's good at relocating, so he's found a new firing position. And oh, we can see the Udis now, and he's missed most of his hit points. He's down to 35%, so it looks like Huggy's taken at least, I think, about 1,000 hit points off him, or thereabouts. Rounds out. Well, it landed near him for 381. It's a tier 10 game with only tier 10 tanks in it. I think that Udis really did take a heavy hit, possibly a penetration. Okay, well, we've got a Cramvarn, an FV215B. That's the heavy tank, not the British heavy tank, not the Death Star. And there's a T110E4 holding back at the moment. And now he's been joined by the Superconk. So we've got 3 enemy tanks together. Rounds out. Ooh, that was good. He actually got critical hits on all the tanks, but it was the FV215B that took the most damage, 419. Now, unfortunately, Wargaming did reduce the range of the Conqueror Gun Carriage, or at least they did for a while, and it seemed that after there was howls of anguish, they've actually increased the range again, so it can reach some, not all of the map, but some of the map. If the Arty were to move to the centre of the map, it should be able to hit everywhere on the map. It's a bit like the Fifi in that sense, the Leffy. It should be able to hit all of the map if it gets close to the centre, but it can't hit all of the map if it's at one side. So you're seeing Tracer from the enemy Arty coming up from the other side of the map. Okay, he's going to go for the Cramvarn. See what he does with this one. Dialed in, rounds out. Oh, direct hit. Another good one. And a blind shot as well. So this time round, that's even more hit points that we're going to have to find out about at the end of the game. Well, the Udis has come back into sight, and now he's virtually completely out of health. Very little left. Only 25 hit points left now. It's hardly worth a shot from a Conqueror Gun Carriage, given how much damage you can do. And you only get 24 rounds of ammunition with the Conqueror Gun Carriage as well, which is a bit of a problem. Because although it's a nice amount of ammunition to play with, compared to, say, a Hummel, which is only 18 rounds, if you've got the top gun, or some of the other Arty, which have got relatively few, but it's not a lot for a tier 10. And of course we have to mention the Object 261, which only gets 18 rounds as well, and so that really makes that very difficult to play at the best of times. He's lined up on the E4, just needs a shell in the breech and off he goes. Actually, the 261 does have 20 shells. I'm thinking of the Hummel again. And a nice hit there, and he actually hit both tanks. Direct hit on the E4 and a splash on the Supercomp. Well, you can see that's a fairly heavily battered E4 there. The enemy actually has 3 T110 E4s in this game. Okay, we're lined up, but the E4's pulled back, and now if we fire, we're probably going to hit the rock face a little further up. So ideally he wants that E4 to come back, or for the Super Conqueror to move over slightly. But I think the Super Conqueror is holding the position that he is, because he's trying to get shots on our Object 268, and we've got another heavy tank on that sort of like cliff path. I'm not sure which one it is, but he'll probably come into view very shortly. It's an IS-7. Okay, we're lined up. We're going to go for the E4, but we've got to fully dial in again. We should be able to get it this time, though. Rounds out. Yes! And he got more hit points off the Supercomp this time than he did off the E4, but that's because the E4 expired. He's been sent back to the motor pool to get a new tank. Okay, he's looking around for targets on the other side of the map. Our guys are trying to get down the west side of the map, but there are enemy tanks blocking their path, including this Cranbon. I think there's some more around there as well. Of course, there's that R1M4C SP2 who's up on top of the duck, shooting at our guys. Oh, narrowly missed the Cranbon. If you're wondering what I'm saying about the duck, that's the kind of pathway up to that viewpoint right up on top of the cliff at F4. You can see it's shaped like a duck, and the other one's shaped like a mouse on the opposite side of the valley. Okay, Supercomp. Let's see if we can get him. Dialing in. Almost ready to go. Rounds out. Oh, that was so unlucky it fell short. I suppose that's the bad RNG for the day. Well, there's a whole bunch of enemy tanks holding up the west side now. We've got a Jaeger and an AMX-30B. Well, the Jaeger's got fairly heavy armour, but hitting him on the side is much easier to get damage. But the AMX-30B's got virtually no armour whatsoever. It's a very light medium, so to speak. Yeah, I think he's going to go for the AMX-30B. Dialed in. Rounds out. Right over the top of the hill, and... oh, that's a pen! A lovely pen. 1,154. 154 more than the average. A nice high roll. He can't reach the E4, the other E4 on the other side. He's having a look now at the Jaeger, and I think the Jaeger is tracing that Object 430U. He might be able to get him. unfortunately, he's so close now to the Object 430U. If we fire, we might damage him. And yes, we did damage him. That might count against us if we were to get the high caliber. The Object 430U's managed to escape from the Jaeger's clutches, but if he carries on around the corner, he's going to meet some of the enemy's teammates coming back to meet him. And he's found the Batchat, and the Batchat found him, and now he's out the game. But that Batchat's very low on hit points, and I think he's just expended his magazine. We can't reach that FB215B, but there's another E4 down the south. Now, can we get a shot on him? It's difficult. We've lost sight of him. The IS-7 was hunting him. Yeah, Huggy's reluctant to fire sometimes when he should. Okay, the 114 SP2 makes a very good target. He's already got 2 kills on our guys. Oh, he just got his 3rd. Oh, Huggy fired blind, and yes, he did get a hit and kill. He splashed the 114. We didn't get to see it, and I normally don't like it when people do that because we lose out on the joy of actually seeing the shell hit the target. But I think he might have done what I did and hit the button at the wrong moment and pops you out of battle assistant. You can't see the shells hit the target. It is a mistake. It's I know when I do it, it's definitely a mistake. I press the mouse button too hard, and that's why it takes me out of battle assistant. Well, he's decided to try and get closer to the enemy. It's a bit risky doing this. There's still, well, there was 5 on each side. Now there's only 4 on our side. We're 1 down on the enemy. I think he's trying to get closer so he can get those enemy tanks in range. Okay, we're even again. The enemy has more hit points at the moment. The enemy Arty was last seen in that position, but he won't necessarily be there. He's dialing in. Of course, with the long reload, the Conqueror Gun Carriage could still be reloading, and we've been spotted. Ow! We take a 105mm round from the Batchat, and it was a heat round at that, so he must have loaded a heat magazine. Oh, but he's been taken out. Our T100 LT got a shot in. There's the Arty. He definitely saw us and thought, yep, he's got to have us. He has taken 107 hit points off us, make us a splash kill, but he doesn't know where we are now. If he does fire another round in, he might waste it. And that would be good, because of course it means our tanks won't be suffering. And now he's got the T110E4 to fire at. Okay, now the engine deck on these things is fairly weak. So if he can land a round on the engine deck, that would certainly help. He fires a round in. Yes! 373. It wasn't a penetration, but it certainly hurt the TE4. And he's changing position to avoid the counter battery. There's only 3 enemy left now. 2 T110E4s and the Conqueror Gun Carriage. Still having another look to see if he can find the Conqueror. Can't find it, but he can find the E4. There he is. Now he's dialing in. Come on, you can do it. We're on the last minute. Rounds out. Ooh, another direct hit. 249. There's the Conqueror Gun Carriage. He did move. And the E4's gone down while he was stunned. So that means now there's only 2 left on the enemy team. This E4, who's down to his last few hit points. And the Conqueror Gun Carriage. And Huggy's decided to go after the CGC. The Orbital Death Star. And the the last E4 did get taken out. Huggy's firing around in blind. When we last saw that CGC, he did have full health. And now he doesn't. So, yes, he did get a hit on him. And there's the kill shot that wins the game. 4,449 hit points. But will he get the high caliber? Here's the end of battle stats, and it's a first ace tanker for Huggy9999 in the Conqueror Gun Carriage. Congratulations, it's always nice to get your first ace tanker on a tier 10 Arty. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this one he managed to get, I think it's that 18 or 13. My eyesight's dreadful now, 13. And he also managed to get a Gauze medal for doing more damage, exceeding 8 times the hit points of his own vehicle. He did get the high caliber, despite the fact that he actually stunned his Object 430U. It didn't record him as doing any damage to that 430U because the shell landed behind the Jaegeru, and consequently he got the high caliber. And he also got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, as well as a win 8 of 7,031, which is Super Unicum standard. So let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. Well, there you go, top of the table, 5,890 hit points. It was more than the 4,000, so that was all those blind shots he did. He actually scored a 1,400 hit points of blind damage on the enemy. The second highest damage in the game went to one of the E4s with 4,345. The Super Conk managed 4,036, and the highest damage after that was the Gorilla 15 on our team with 3,329. When it came to kills, it was actually our T100LT got, what did he get? He got a patrol duty for spotting at least 6 enemy tanks, and being the only one spotting them whilst they were damaged. 4 kills. 3 kills to the Gorilla 15, 3 kills to the E4, the Super Conk and the 114 on the enemy team, and 2 kills went to Huggy and also the Object 430U, the Viz 55 and the Batchat 25 ton on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he's in second place because he only got 1,008. He was pipped to the post by the T100LT. He managed to get, if I can show this correctly, let's bring it up properly. There you go. 5,181 spotting assists. Now that's why he earned all that extra. He was spotting for the team. And so, yes, he exceeded the amount that Huggy managed to get. And that's why he got a slightly bigger base XP out of the game at the end. So let's have a look at the detail. 16 shots fired, so he still had 8 rounds left at the end of the game. 10 direct hits on the enemy, 2 penetrations. I'd be very interested to know which ones he actually did penetrate, but I suspect we do know that the UDES was hit in the Object 430. Yes, he did pen the UDES. The first shot he did, that one, that blind shot, that actually did pen him. It took most of his hit points away. He actually picked up 1,475 hit points from that tank alone. And then, of course, we did see the pen for the AMX-30B. 1,154 for that one. Yeah, that was very nice. They must have felt pretty bad about losing all their hit points so quickly to an Arty. Anyway, let's get back to the rest. He also splashed 20 of the enemy. 5,890 hit points, all of it done at more than 300 meters. He received 1 hit from the Batchat. It was a penetration. In fact, it was a heat round, and also 1 hit by way of splash damage from the enemy Conqueror Gun Carriage. 10 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, 815 hit points of damage assistance, and 398 hit points of stun assist off 19 stuns. He earned 74,233 credits from the 235 credits from the game. And after repair and ammunition resupply took away 4,525 credits. That's mainly because the ammunition on this thing is pretty expensive, and so is the repair costs actually for that, because it is a tier 10 Arty. 55 bonds for the achievement and 7 bonds for this being a tier 10, 62 in total. 1512 XP times 5 on this occasion, 7560 experience points altogether. So the Conqueror Gun Carriage, let's have a quick look at the armour. It really doesn't have much, I'm afraid. You're looking at the lower plate being 76.2, well, it's based on a heavy tank after all, 130 of effective armour. Of the front upper plate is 13 centimetres thick and gives an effective of 190, but the rest of the vehicle is fairly thin. You're looking at 50.8 on the sides, 58 up there. So yes, it's all fairly light. You've got a spaced armour there on the side of the vehicle. If we go to the live model, see exactly what the actual live bits are, where the hitbox is, and you can see, yes, it's fairly thin on the actual casement. So that's the place to aim for if you want to penetrate one of these. And from the collision model, you can see that the toughest armour is right at the front of the vehicle, based on a heavy tank. Anyway, let's have a quick look at the modules. Well, you've got the driver up front on his own, and he's on the left hand side of the vehicle, because after all, this is a British vehicle, you drive on the left. Well, we do anyway. And a few others. The Japanese, I think, and the Australians, and a few other countries drive on the same side as we do. Got the engine up front, of course, because it's a heavy tank in reverse with the transmission at the front, in front of the driver, and the engine behind him. 2 fuel tanks either side sandwiching. We've got the commander on the left-hand side of the vehicle as we're looking at it, with the radio next to him. 2 gunners for elevation and azimuth behind on the right-hand side, and 2 loaders at the back, sandwiched between 2 massive ammo racks. Yes, so this tank is not too easy to set off with a huge bang, so long as you aim for the sides of the vehicle where it's very thin. And yes, you can strike those ammo racks and make the thing go bang. So that's the modules for the Conqueror Gun Carriage. So it only remains for me to say congratulations to Huggy9999 for getting his first ace tanker in the orbital laser cannon that is the CGC. And please do let other people know that this channel exists. Tell them that we're actually donating all of the proceeds from the channel to the Ukraine Red Cross appeal, or Red Cross Ukraine appeal. And please do watch as many of our videos as you can, even if you have to put up with my voice, because you're actually sending money to help the refugees. Thanks for watching.